Hi, Deacon John Wilson here, Education Enrichment Director from West Angeles Church. I'm here today to talk about a topic that I've been prayerful about and is important to discuss, but not for a meeting. I really can't wait for a meeting I have with my parents. So I guess that's why we have the channel. And for this is really targeted at 12th grade parents. We're hearing things in the news about colleges who are moving away from DEI, which means diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, I can see I need a longer video where I talk about the movement toward the policy. I'll hit it in places here. I probably need a part two. I'm going to ask you to listen through the whole video. Could you? And remember to click like and subscribe if this is the kind of education topic you want to hear. I'm trying to limit it to DEI as an educational policy in curriculum and on college campuses. I have probably about 3 or 4 videos I'm going to do on it. But this is my intro one where I'm going to directly address the issue of the removal of, quote, DEI policies at various schools. And it's escalated since the election when it's clear that the incoming administration will have some angst with DEI policies. But it began before that, with the Supreme Court ruling about 15 months ago. And I'll include a video below on this, but when it was ruled that certain colleges could not use race in their admissions criteria. They couldn't say, well, if a person's Black, we'll reduce their requirements. A lot of you feel that's okay. I don't think it's needed, and I have a video in the description block below you can listen to about that. It's been viewed by about quite a few people. But and I've talked about it on different other sites with people who are interviewing me. But I have a problem with race-based admissions. I think it cheapens my Black students who are qualified, and it makes assumptions about all Black students that they need help that I don't think is required. Now, if Harvard and North Carolina wanted to institute some kind of a system where students who weren't economically, I don't want to say qualified, but who are poor, but even they need to have the right grades. And that may be the way they should have implemented it, but it was clearly race. So a lot of those schools had to drop those policies or alter them. Say, well, why are you bringing it up now, Deacon? Because most experts and most colleges agree that the concept of rewarding people based on race and not on their merit, is probably the clock that was running out on that before the last election when Trump got in office. But a lot of you will think it's because of that. I understand. And I might surprise you in this video when I talk about my concerns after telling you why I'm not opposed to removing DEI policies. Now, DEI is a replacement for affirmative action. Now, let's break down the components. Diversity. There's nothing wrong with diversity. I think students could desire a diverse experience in college, and they should seek it out. But it should not be the basis for their admission or for the employment of faculty. If a college wants to have more Black professors that are capable, they can go out and find them. I know some great Black professors in majority white schools. They're wonderful people. They can go out and get them. I'm going to tell you a story about someone a little later. I'm trying to get her for an interview that was pushed out of a university, a Black woman, for stating just that. So there's nothing wrong with diversity, okay? Cultural diversity is wonderful. I will get back to that at the end of the video. My next video, I'm going to do an open video to college presidents because I have some concerns about when we remove DEI, we're throwing out the baby with the bathwater. hate to use cliches, but you know what I mean. You're throwing out the bathwater, you're throwing out the baby. So I have that concern, but in certain states where your students may be going to school, like I saw a lot of applications to LSU and Southern University in Louisiana. I see Florida schools. I see North Carolina schools where they're having to quietly set aside their DEI policies. Now, a lot of them are saying they're doing it for next year when they set the policies aside. Here in California, there's been nothing from our California schools because you have a governor here in a state that is fully in favor of DEI. Now, what is DEI? It's diversity, equity, inclusion. Nothing wrong with diversity. But equity, we've talked about before here too. I'm for equality in admissions decisions and curriculum decisions. I'm not for equity, meaning that we're going to grade differently for Black students or give Black students and Black and brown. When I say Black, I mean students of color. I hope you're clear on that. Maybe I should just say students of color, but I'm thinking about Black students mostly now, as that's mostly who I serve. So equity is not a friend of Black students because it says to me something I don't like to feel like. I don't like it to feel like the assumption is made that all Black students need help. They need the white man to help this poor little Black child. I always dislike things like that. I don't like that kind of help. The assumption that because you have Black skin, and I think the reason why you get that is because we got some progressive whites who in that way, now listen to me, are more racist than the most racist conservative you can find because they've assumed that Black people can't do it. That's just as insidious, at least, and I would argue sometimes more. So equity is a problem. There's some college professors in CSU. I wish I could find videos. Maybe I'll find the videos that have openly stated they grade Black students different because they're different than white students. How's that helping Black students to be given grades? As I said on a video about 2 years ago, parents, y'all know who James Brown is, right? What's that song he had? I don't want nobody to give me nothing. Open up the door and I get it myself. Do you hear me now? I don't want nobody to give me nothing. Open up the door and I get it myself. You see my point? I don't like equity. I don't want equity from white folks. The white people I talk to totally understand that. The Black people I talk to, when I break it down this way, they don't want it. We don't want your favors as if our children are crippled. We don't want that. That's why I went up to Sacramento and was yelling and screaming for algebra to be in 8th grade last year, which was an achievement. It passed. Because some people had thought they were helping Black children. But how in the world are you going to have more Black STEM majors if they can't start algebra until 9th grade, which means they won't get calculus? Sorry about that. I feel passionate about this. Equity is not the way. Or people who did that disgusting framework, which made it look like you could take Algebra 1 and data science, you should be able to get into UC. No, UC has pressed back on that emphatically and said, no, I'll give you more information on that later. What in the world, how in the world would we ever want equity in college? So diversity and equity as policy matters. To me, you don't need them. You don't need that merit is out the window and skin color and culture and ethnicity is in. Folks, we are past needing that. Our Black kids just need to hit the books, go to programs like ours, work hard, and get ahead. And any white person that tries to stop them will be fully ruined in their lives. Trust me on that. There is more going for our Black students, even in white schools, than ever happened before. And we got to stop this assumption that just because people are white, they're part of some racist, supremacist system. We better stop saying that white supremacy all the time. Again, I'm talking about equity, diversity, equity. Now let's talk about inclusion. Because inclusion sounds fair. What inclusion is saying is, hey, we should include all races in what we do. Who could disagree with that? But again, when it goes to hiring, it gets us into having a certain amount of Blacks, a certain amount of whites, and here we go, sorry about this, a certain amount of LGBTQ, a certain amount of transgender. Now, if those transgendered and other LGBTQ and Black, Hispanic, woman, etc., if they have the merit, if they meet the requirements for the job, well, fine. But we shouldn't set out ahead of time and say, well, we need to get more Blacks, so we're going to hire more Blacks. That is not what I want to see in higher education. You know why, parents? Because you're going to get some jack-laid professors, and I already am hearing that get your student in their classroom and start telling them all kinds of crazy things. So when they get home to you at Christmas time, they might as well have fatigues on and a fist in the air. Too many colleges talk about inclusivity. Too many colleges are bringing these professors in who are radicalizing our students and getting them off the track of getting their degrees. I see it all the time. I see it all the time. One called me yesterday like that. I wish you could see the calls I'm getting, the things I'm seeing, the articles I'm reading about inclusion. It is good to be inclusive of people who meet the requirements. And I don't think colleges, let me say this, I don't think colleges do enough to look for these other types of people than white folks or whatever. They don't do enough. They want to sit there and just be able to hire the first one that walks in. So what this has led to is college professors, led to two things. It's led to college professors coming into schools, becoming the president of the university. They haven't even passed, they've lied about their doctoral or they plagiarized because you're so much wanting a Black person in that position. Now I'm going to open my new channel up. I'm going to talk more about DEI at the federal level and the presidential level, but that's for my other channel, and I'll announce that real soon. Let's stay on the subject. So DEI as an educational policy is out at many schools, the idea of merit. Now I have a caution, though, as I end this video. I have a caution for presidents of universities, and I'll talk about one certain university next time. But I have a caution for you. Don't go in there and try. This is where conservatives and far-right people lose me. Don't go in there and throw out your DEI policies and then say all the good work that your multicultural organizations have done, your Black student unions have done in retaining students and giving them a culture to make, listen close, listen to me, and giving you a culture to make the adjustment to college. You're going to throw them out too. These types of people are not right. And that's why conservatives many times, shouldn't be, not all conservatives, get the knock of being racially insensitive. Sure, you can close your multicultural center up, but the next day, I should see clearly where are the safe places for cultural enjoyment of the campus. Human beings have the tendency to want to be of their own culture. And black folks, we got to stop using the term look like me. Let's stop saying that. Let's talk culture. It's not what they look like. Stop that Black skin looks like. What about a light skinned Black? Do they look like you? We got to stop that look like you stuff. It's cultural. Listen, uh, vice presidents of student affairs, vice presidents of students, deans of students, presidents of universities. You all might see these because I'll be tweeting this out. Stop it. Never say what you're not going to do without saying what you're going to keep doing, because multicultural approaches are retention based. And I know you want to retain students. Maybe it's cynical. Maybe you just see a way to strike back by taking everything out and see what happens. Listen to me. You schools that are predominantly white, you've got to still address the need culturally for students to feel comfortable and indeed to be with people of their same culture. Because that's the thing about America. America is many cultures all together. And yeah, if you want to have multicultural events, that's fine. But you're going to have to acknowledge that. So when you throw out these DEI policies, I'm okay with it if you want to throw out anything that's not merit-based. You want to stop hiring people because they're one color or other, but hiring people for merit. And I did say on that, I'm concerned, are you looking for qualified Blacks? Do you have a program to look for qualified Blacks? Are you reaching out to Black leaders in the community, hello, and trying to find out who are these qualified people? And it may mean you need to look at some of your job requirements, but you can do it in a way that you don't sacrifice the quality of your educational delivery. And in the same way, don't remove the things that kept good student retention. And that's the answer. And that's what I want to be sure in telling my parents. Now, I'm going to talk next about a particular school and what they've told me about the changes they're making, because there's some pretty well-known schools back east that are making that change to drop DEI policies. All right, got a little passionate there. Remember, click like and subscribe, though, if this is the kind of information you want to get during this college admission season. Would you please, and let me know that give me some feedback, do a comment. Let me know, am I on track, off track? Am I just a blowhard, deacon that don't know what he's talking about? We have part 2 coming up. God bless you. Bye-bye now.